Today you're learning how to make this poster. Now, 3 things. 1, I'm not shooting a film called Secret Garden. 2, I don't know an Adam Young. And 3, I didn't do any of these steps in ordered succession. The reason why I shared that last one is my way of saying, get experimental with Vegas Image. Be patient. You'll love it. First, we'll employ a plain layer, which is essentially just a solid background, and the default is usually white. Then we're going to proceed to the Effects menu and generate this gradient. We just need these 2 color points in the gradient, but if you happen to make one by accident, you can just right-click and it'll be removed. On the leftmost point, I want a dark blue plane. If you're painfully consistent as I am, here's the hex code. In fact, I'm going to copy that into this. By the way, the hex code is in the description. For the other end, I picked dark magenta. Hex code, again, in the description. I went over to Unsplash and found this. You can drag it into the project or click Add Image Layer to bring it in. Let's eliminate the background first. Grab Vector Mask and draw it starting from the stem. Remember, you can't lose any pixels in Vegas Image, so even if some points around here were a little clumsy, you can just adjust it later. When a mask is done, typically it'll come out feathered. I tend to reduce the softness to about 0.09%. Now that it's done, go ahead and raise it to the top right corner and rotate it. This is completely optional for me, but I wanted to make the noise here a little bit more prominent, so I applied the clarity effect. This adds a bit of punch to the midtones, making things a little sharper, and I recommend trying it on regular images like portraits to see its effect. The top left is actually a duplicate of the same thing, rotated differently, and outside of the canvas. The leaf is a PNG with no background, so no work needed. I'm going to link the source in the description. I did, however, find it to be a little too pale, so I applied an exposure effect and graded it a little bit. I made it so that it's a little darker with some contrast. The flower is not transparent, but the link will be in the description. You'll have to do the same thing that we did with the bud. Now for my favorite part, texture. Texture gives life and feel to everything. The world is made of texture. You can create some from scratch in Vegas Image, but I'd rather head over to Unsplash one more time and simply type paper texture. The exact one will be linked in the description. Make sure the layer of this texture is positioned above the background and just throw in multiply. That's it. So it's taken effect, but we don't really see much. So what I'm going to do here is add a clarity effect and double after maxing out the first one. And I can do that by holding Control and hitting J. Click Add Text Layer. I chose Era's Light ITC and raised the letter spacing up a bit to give the letters some space. Because credits are usually small, you want them to have the most readable font. In this case, I just stuck with Arial for our friend Adam. And now you're done.